G'day, thanks for joining us here for another episode of the Grey Man Podcast. I'm your host, Harley Fox. Today on the show, I'm joined by Josh Serjonar. Josh is a veteran of the Royal Australian Air Force, where he worked as an AGI for 5.5 years. Since leaving the Air Force, he has overcome some difficulties and challenges of his own to get to where he is today as the owner of the charity and business called Mindful Mates, doing great things in the veteran community. Great chat with Josh today. Thanks for being here, guys. Enjoy the show. This podcast is brought to you by BAC, Baldwin Advocacy and Claims. The Grey Man Podcast is proud to partner with Kai and his team. More about that during the show. Josh, welcome, mate.
Thanks
Thanks for being here. No worries. Jinx. Cool, man. Yeah, I've met you last year and heard about your Mindful Mates, and we just did the little veteran entrepreneur training together last week.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Good to meet up with, 10 other like-minded veterans on their own little journey themselves. And I don't think there was anyone there that crossed over, really. We all had separate things.
Nah, nothing you would really, maybe yours, like psychological services, but the others are so left field, like fucking boat entertainment and bloody securities. I guess security is kind of one you'd expect as well. No coffee. Oh, there's a podcast. The only one we're missing
is
author. The coffee makers. Yeah, we had an author.
And gym owner.
I'll have to get Heidi on when she comes down to Brizzy.
I think so too. And yeah, she's got a great story and not scared to share her lived experience either, which is very powerful in that veteran community space. Yeah, it's good. It's good to have a bit more female representation as well. The girls need a bit more of their voices out there. 100%, especially with what's going on at the moment in the defence space with the inquiry into sexual violence, which doesn't only just include the females, but majority is including the females. There's some guys out there too that I've spoken to recently that fall into that category. But
yeah, right. I never met any guys that dealt with it. I mean, I had my ass grabbed and stuff many times, but kind of like
good old sack whack.
Can't say I felt bad about it. Yeah, and I don't know why the girls sort of don't speak up too much. They feel like their voices aren't as important, but they definitely are.
100%. Yeah. So like I said to you earlier, I met Jodie Allen yesterday. She said she was episode number 4. She remembered, just like you did during our course. You could probably rattle off everyone, mate. But
Jodie, actually, we filmed twice because what was the issue? I think there was sound issues, and I messaged her and I was like, "This is a nightmare to try and fix." She's like, "Oh, let's do it again." So that was our second rendition.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no, Jodie's a good egg. We've known her for many years. We used to work together at Mates and Mates, became friends, and hung out a bit outside of work. Did a couple of those 4-day wellness retreats together.
Yeah. She's working with another company now, or another foundation that does an 11-day PTSD retreat out at Boonaway. We're chatting about that recently, and they've got a pretty good program out there. So going to hopefully work with that a little bit more and maybe become a guest presenter and try and help out where I can and share some of my lived experience as well and see if it's valuable.
That's awesome, yeah. 11 days, that's a bloody holiday, that is. You can definitely dig into it there. I was going to say with the girls, with you're saying about the SA stuff, I was talking to a friend about it the other day. It's like there's no girl I've ever spoken to, not military, just in general, that hasn't had some exposure to it. And that is a fucking frightening statistic.
Especially us with young daughters, mate.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to say, it's like I've got my daughter in martial arts to try and get that confidence and reduce the fear of confrontation and stuff, and the ability to, crack someone in the nuts and run and scream and all that sort of stuff. But that only protects you from the people trying to attack you, right? Not from the friends and partners and stuff that are slowly grinding away and attacking you. So, yeah, it's fucking tough. We've got to, build strong, resilient women, but we've also got to fucking educate the men. A girl was saying to me the other day, it's like, this isn't our responsibility, it's the man's responsibility. I was like, how are we supposed to know? Because I'm a good dude and I treat women well. And my friends, to the best of my fucking knowledge, are all the same. Can never imagine them hurting a woman, and I'm sure they fucking don't. They've got great relationships. So who's doing it? Who are these fucking dogs doing it?
Mm.
And how do we fucking find them to stop them or fucking put the hard word on them? It's like, ask your mates, are you okay? Also, do you assault your girlfriend?
Yeah. I think we'll get into it throughout this podcast today, mate, but my experience, like we've talked about before, when I was in defence, I probably didn't deal with my trauma too well, and I wasn't physically assaulting my partners, but there was definitely that emotional abuse.
Oh, yeah.
And it was post that with that realisation that I wasn't dealing with my own trauma, and I've been able to deal with it majorly now.
Emotional as in sort of raising your voice, or just
raising my voice and fucking like a little bit of coercive control and just jealousy was probably the biggest thing. And just getting like angry about that, like stupidly. If I could go back and change it, I would, but you can't go back and change the past.
You still friends with that partner?
No, I don't blame them for not being friends with me, right? One of them told me I was the worst person they've ever met.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the turning point for me to really reevaluate my life and go, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, nice. That's good you took it on board.
It could have happened much earlier though, couldn't it? But hindsight's a bitch.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we all live in regret, and we've all made bad choices. Like me, I'm right up there with some of the top goal kickers making bad choices. But yeah, like you said, as long as you live and you learn and you can reflect and have that growth mindset and move forward, a better man, that's all you can ask for, I think.
Yeah, I just wish it didn't take so long.
Yeah, me too.
What do you do?
What do you do?
Sometimes you're just a creature of your environment that you've grown up in, and then you work in the military as well. Like I was in the chair force, mate. I was an Airfield Defence Guard, so I didn't do too much, but
Get out.
it was a male only job back then, and it was very similar to the battalions and stuff like that. Probably very similar, and it was very toxic masculinity, and if you didn't fit in, you weren't part of the crew. So I kind of I was kind of that one that flaunted the lines of not fitting in, like wasn't not in but wasn't in at the same time. So
yeah, right. Is that like a bit of a trend from your childhood? You're saying you sort of dealt with stuff poorly and made poor decisions as far as relationships and stuff go. Was that mirrored from how you grew up?
The relationships and stuff, yes. I don't know why I chose not to fit in with the Defence Force stuff. Yeah, childhood was a bit tricky, mate. Like very, very low socio-economic background.
In the country or city?
Grew up on the south coast of New South Wales near Nowra. So on a little beachside town called Culburra Beach. A beautiful part of the world, but it's like Nimbin, mate. Everyone's
small town syndrome.
Small town syndrome.
Coastal version.
Everyone was on the reefer, and like all the families were the same, right? So yeah, it was a bit tricky, like very, very low socioeconomic cousins.
Lots of teen pregnancy and violence and all that sort of stuff.
I got out of there when I was 10, so I ended up getting picked up by the police, and like there was custody issues with my mum and dad from the age of 2. Ended up getting picked up by the police when I was 10 or 11. It's a bit blurry, but yeah, had to get on teleconferencing back on the telephone back in those days and try and decide who I wanted to live with. And the judge called me and they were like, we need your decision right now. I didn't have a choice to think about it. I knew my choice was to live with my stepmom and my dad, but it still wasn't an easy choice to put on a 10-year-old to make that decision.
Yeah, I'm surprised they asked a 10-year-old. Usually it's 12 or 13, isn't it? So.
Yeah. I think my grandmother who's my biological mum, she was the one that was trying to advocate for me because, yeah.
Your grandmother was your biological mum?
No, she was.
The mother of your biological mum?
Yeah. So, yeah. I'm going to stumble on my words a lot today, mate. And I'm going to laugh at myself just as much as you laugh
was
at
this
me.
town? My grandmother, who was actually my sister.
Yeah, so she advocated for me in the court system to try and make that choice, which then my dad did to me the same thing when I was 17, 18. Him and my stepmom split up and left me there with my stepmom. She had to sell the house, had to move out by myself, and I got invited to live with him in a shed on Chevron Island on the Gold Coast. But it was
shed.
Yeah, it
His
was.
shed. He had a house.
No, he moved in with another guy that he was managing a pub with, and turned out that he was probably affiliated with some bikies and stuff like that. So, it wasn't really what I needed at the time. So I ended up just moving out by myself into a granny flat for somewhere, and that's the start of the journey towards the military, I think.
Yeah, right. So what's your what you're saying here is you never had any real role models or good guidance growing up to have that emotional maturity that you wished you had earlier.
Yeah, but I guess my stepmom was there, but she worked within her means. She worked 2 jobs to try and keep the family afloat, and took that role to try and support us that way. So we never, when I moved in with them at 10, 11, we never went without anything, and we had a good life, but there still was a lot of time where she wasn't there because she was working 2 jobs to try and keep the family afloat.
You were not close with your old man, or you were?
He worked in the pub system and stuff like that, and I don't think he actually worked as much as he said he was. So he said he would go to work at 2 p.m. and wouldn't be home till 7 a.m. the next morning. My biggest memory of that is my under 16 grand final for rugby league. I was the captain of the team, and we was supposed to win. And I was like, "Oh, you're going to be there?" And he's like, "No, I got to go to work." And play the grand final. We won man of the match, and I caught him at work, and I was like, "Oh, hey, is Wayne there?" And he's like, "Oh no, he doesn't start till 10 o'clock tonight." And this was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so it was like a 2 p.m. grand final, and I was like, "Oh, cool." That's really stuck with me. So
you never found out where he was?
I now know where he was. He was at his
some woman.
No, he was at his friend's house, like getting into and dealing drugs and stuff like that, and getting it already in the pub system to
Gotcha.
Well, that's what I think anyway. Can't confirm it 100%, but
allegedly. So he's had a little side hustle going.
Yeah. And then, so that was the first chink in the armor for me that was like, fuck, this is not the guy that I've idolized for a while. And I continued to idolize him for years and years until that girl, I'm never going to mention her name because I don't feel like it's doing her justice. I feel like it'll just be me talking about myself to try and make myself feel better, which is not, it's always been hard to try and navigate, like, how do I reach out and say I'm so sorry for what I did to you?
You're talking about the girl that you emotionally...
I've gone off track here, mate. This is my mind. Yeah, so that one, the one that said to me, like, it wasn't...
You idolized your dad until that girl?
Yeah, until she said to me, like, you're the worst person. That's when I went to that reflective piece. And then I've gone, fuck, this guy that I idolize is not who I think he is. And why am I living up to his expectations when I can live up to my own?
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, so you're trying to be like the old man until you realise that he was a bad role model.
Yes, 100%.
Makes a lot of sense. So did you have any family sort of ties to military that you knew about growing up?
My great-grandfather was in one of the world wars. Can't tell you which one it was because I didn't really have too much connection to that family, but do have some memorabilia in our that was in World War II, because it got some memorabilia that he made out of aircraft parts. So he made like a jewelry box and all this other stuff out of some aircraft parts from World War II, and
that's cool.
I've got them. But no, I decided that I was 19. All my mates on the Gold Coast were getting into the drugs and into that scene that I didn't want to be a part of, and I was like, how do I get out of here? And Defence Force recruiting, like in the paper, I seen it when I was at work, and I was like, fuck, I'm just going to go and apply. Went down, sat my aptitude test, wanted to do jobs that were far beyond my aptitude. And they're like, oh, what do you like? Do you like camping and fishing? I'm like, fucking love camping and fishing. They're like, you should become an Airfield Defence Guard.
Camping and fishing.
And we never went. Oh, we went camping, but just slept in our sleeping bags on the ground, but never fishing, mate. Never fishing.
Where the hell would fishing come into it?
I think they just needed people to become they just needed to fill their quotas, and seen me coming. But you don't blame them. Like, they're just doing their job. But
so that was
hindsight.
That was the only thing that you looked at, really?
It was the one that was going to get me out of the Gold Coast the quickest as well, and was based in Amberley, 100%, like nowhere else you could have been based. So kind of wanted to have that closeness to some sort of familiarity with home. But then, 5 years later, it's probably not what it was cracked up to be, but I would not take it back. I'd never take it back.
What was it like, sort of escaping the darkness that was surrounding you with the drugs and friends and father and stuff, to get on that bus and head off?
It was pretty rewarding at the start, and then you get into it, and like, I probably wasn't the best troop. I wasn't fucking good soldier. I wasn't airman, whatever you want to call me.
Tell me what Air Force recruiting is, recruit fucking school, whatever you call it. Because most people, we always, Army, Navy, and Air Force, we always forget about the old chair force and the bus drivers, the civvies in uniform. There's so much, like, I guess because we pay them off as just a corporate role, I don't really know too much about them, to be fair. Like, I've been to both Navy recruit school and Army recruit school, so I'm very well versed in those. And most people do know, like, what Cerberus is and what happens down there, and what Kapuka is and what happens down there. What the fuck happens in the Air Force? You just sip on tea and eat scones, or? Pretty
much, mate. Just check into that 5-star hotel and off you go. No, I don't know if it's too dissimilar. It's probably not as hectic as what the Army is.
Live in lines and
live in lines. So when I was in, we did recruits down in Edinburgh. So I don't know. I can't attest to what Wagga's like, because I never went there. But we went down to Adelaide, and as soon as we got off that bus, it's the same thing. They don't speak to you. Straight in there, screaming at you, telling you how shit you are. And it's just that real breakdown of that. And like, I think we've talked about it, about the nervous system and how they change it, which, again, I don't think is a bad thing. I think they need to do it. It's just,
Yeah.
So,
and then strip you of your civilian sort of mentality.
And then, same thing. We lived in, they were just demountables back then. So I think our course probably had 30 on there. So the guys and the girls got split up into their dorms, and we were in a room of 8 with our lockers there, and had to have everything perfect, and the daily inspections, and
measure your clothes and all that.
Yeah. Well, make your counterpane with 30 centimetres, and if it's not 30 centimetres, you had to rip it up and say, this bed is shit, ACR, or whatever you had to do. And then if it wasn't made properly and they did an inspection outside of when you're wetting your room, you'd come back and your whole bed and all your shit's messed up to make you have to do it again, which I guess builds that resilience up, and that's character building. Again.
Yeah, well, that stuff's all right. What about lots of drill and weapons training and stuff?
Yeah, so with recruits, we just did the basic, the F-88 Ostar, and heaps of drill. Yeah, heaps of drill. I think there was a 3-day field X at the end of it where you had to pack march out and dig pits and...
What?
Yeah.
Oh, because you're an Agi or everybody?
No, this was everyone. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. This is a while ago, mate. This is 20 years ago. I don't know what it's like now, but no yellow cards and red cards back then either.
Fuck, I heard about those. Is that legit?
Oh, that's rumours, right? I haven't seen them.
Never know what's true on the digging it. With yellow cards and red cards, for those listening, there's a rumour going around. Not sure if it's true. Somebody put in the comments if it's true or not. That if you're getting yelled at recruit school, any of the recruit schools, you can put up a yellow card to, like a "don't speak to me like that" sort of card, like a warning card from a ref to a player almost, and the secos being the players, and the red card is like a stop or fucking...
You can't speak to me for the rest of the day or something like that.
Surely it's not true.
Surely that's only got to be Air Force, right?
Please God, don't let it be true.
So we are
I want to see photos.
Force,
That's
right?
true. I want to see photos. Somebody sent me a photo from recruit school. Yeah, at the end of the day, like you look back at the dudes that were, when it was all male back in the 90s doing combat roles and stuff, where they would get punched in the head and they all speak very fondly of it.
Yeah,
it's like you fuck up, you get hit, talk shit, get hit, and then it's softened over the years, and there's a bit more equity and diversity, and what's the word for treating people with respect, I guess. So yeah, you can't threaten and threaten violence or do any violence, which is kind of fair enough because you don't want to give people trauma fucking in recruit school. No. But at the same time, it's got to be fucking hard. I know in recruit school when I was there, there's hard training and then there's abuse, and there's a very distinct difference. And just because you're getting screamed at and made to do things you don't want to do, that's not abuse. That's fucking training to be a warfighter.
Yeah, I can't agree more. Like it's very important that you do. Like when I reflect on it now, I'm like, fuck, I wouldn't change it, because if just say like we were to activate one of the bear bases and that was our role to go up and stand to this bear base, and there was enemy there and they shot rounds down range, you would want that guy beside you to like stand to and fucking fire back rather than running away. So I know why they do it. It's just, is there a way that we can do it to try and help these people that are separating manage their mental health better before separation, so when they get back into the community, that they've got a better way with reconnecting with the community?
Oh, yeah, because if you get broken down so much and turned into a soldier, a sailor, an airman, to the point where that becomes your entire identity, and then, yeah, you don't get remade back into a civilian, which is the problem with the transition these days.
It's like, I understand the people that want to stay within that defence community, right? So you've got, like, you go to any of the sub-branches and you go walk in, there's to a morning coffee catch-up, and you got the Vietnam veterans there, and they've all just hold that same identity that they're a Vietnam veteran, and they're all stayed together. Wednesday mornings they go to their coffee catch-up and they catch up outside. That's cool, but these days we are such a broader community, and when you do discharge or medically discharge or however you get separated, that most of the veterans these days go back into the workforce, right? Yeah,
or they isolate themselves.
Yeah,
with their pension. If they don't work, a lot of them are just hiding from the world.
And I think that's that reintegration back into the community, which for me is one of the 4 pillars of good mental fitness. But it's hard. Like I've caught up with a mate recently that's discharged in 2011. Was jumped from job to job to job. He's had like 6 or 7 different short-term roles, but then he's jumped from job to job, and he said he had like 8 different 1 to 2 year jobs since leaving defence, because he's getting frustrated with how people do stuff, because he's still got that military kind of mindset that shut up and just do your job. And
No, it's really hard, especially if you're going into a corporate role or something where I watched a little video on it the other day. It was so accurate. Like, you go from all the fun and the banter and the pranks and stuff and military and making mundane tasks enjoyable with your work colleagues, and then you go into a corporate role and you try and say something or have a bit of a joke or fun, and they sort of look at you and walk off, and you're like, let's do this and catch up or whatever, and everyone's just like, oh no, I'm busy, I've got my kids, I've got this, I've got that. So then you're just sort of left there feeling like, fuck, this is so different. Who am I? I don't belong here.
Yeah, 100%. I found myself in that same routine until I made that decision. Well, I kind of had it when I worked for Apple. So I worked for you said you joined the Potters. Your mum joined that church, the Potters Church.
Potters House, yeah.
I joined Apple, mate. That's not too dissimilar. It's a bit cultish, I guess, but
Apple the fucking phones.
Yeah. So I worked for them for 5 years, but there was that same sense. There was a very similar kind of sense of all those guys. All they would do is hang out together as well. So it wasn't too dissimilar from the military, I guess.
Oh, really?
So
you have it a little bit. Some jobs will have it. Tradies and stuff often have that sort of mateship. Hospo workers hang out together a lot.
Yeah.
Things where you have you work hard and you have the same off time, I think you get a bit of that same environment.
Yep.
Yeah. So off you went to be a fucking SAS Aggie.
Yep.
Where did you went up to Amberley?
Yeah. So recruit school was probably a bit easier than Kapuka, right? Let's be honest. But then you go off to SFS, the Security and Fire School. You're working off the very similar SOPs to what the battalions are and what the infantry is. It's just broken down to being 2 5-man half sections to come together as a 10-man section. And then that's when those incidents of your leopard crawling, you get told, crawl faster, you fat cunt, and getting bashed over the back of the, getting hit with sticks and shit like that. But at the time I was like, what the fuck? But now I'm like, I don't think it's even that bad. It is training you to, if shit goes down, that you've got to work to 110% rather than...
You got to make it muscle memory sort of, as a throwaway term, to when you're in an environment and you are getting shit coming at you left, right and centre, you can stay focused.
Yeah, 100%. So I wouldn't change that either. I think it's potentially if we are talking about yellow and red cards these days, whether I can't get on board with that. You're a defence force, you're not there. Yeah.
I am 100% with you. The softening of the Defence Force and requirements and recruitment and standards and this yellow red card nonsense and all of it. Fuck it off. We're creating warfighters. Look at the wars that are going on. We've got trench warfare. We've got drone warfare. We've got, we're on the cusp of fucking some outbreaks and stuff. It's don't soften the fucking Defence Force. Make it harder. If people don't like it, fucking too bad. They shouldn't join.
Yeah.
We don't want people that are going to fold, like the old chocolate soldiers, because chocolate melts in the heat of battle. Same sort of thing if you're softening the Defence Force, all you're doing is making a bunch of chocos.
True. I haven't thought about that. So.
You want? I must be fucking. And we're back. If the voices change, it's because I've edited out the background noise, which is a cement truck. So yeah, as we were saying, creating warfighters, don't soften them.
Yeah. Well, I think even the Air Force has realised that the AGI role could be adapted a bit further, and the Army was always going to do our job anyway, right? If we stood to would probably be doing that base security and the aircraft security. So I'm not even sure if they even do what our role was designed to do back in the day. So back in the day, our role was to defend up to 15 Ks outside the airfield, to be that, not special forces, but like a counter special forces. So like to try and disrupt that happening. Whether we would ever been able to achieve that with knowing how good the special forces are, I don't know. On exercise, like it is only exercise, but on exercise we were able to disrupt that movement. But again, it's only an exercise, but you're only good as you train, right? So it was good to get that experience, but I don't even know if that role's the same anymore. So
yeah, I remember Ian Fraser from episode 5 was an Aggie back in Nam, and he was talking about, patrolling outside the wire and having close contacts with Viet Cong and stuff.
Yeah, that's probably, I'm not even sure. Like I got out before the whole squadron went to Afghanistan, so I didn't get any trips or anything like that, mate. I'm not going to claim that.
Old Cliff Morgan, and he's shooting himself in the leg.
I think that happened after I got out, but yes. Some
new SOPs in there for fucking...
Yeah, that was down on the base range. And funny fact is that I first got up to the squadron, my corporal Beans was up there, and he left in 2008 to become a paramedic, and he was a paramedic that turned up to base that day to Clifford with that incident. But just trying to, from my understanding, was just trying to save himself a second or two to try and get onto that course. I think it was
trying to get on a CPP. Yeah.
So yeah. So then I graduated SFS 2007, I think, whenever that first course was. Got up to the squadron. Little gobby cunt I was. Yeah, it wasn't like you, mate. Not the grey man. I always got myself into trouble because I'd always stood up for myself. Like at school, I was the captain of the sports teams and was that was that person at front. And then I got up there and I was in the lowest part of the pecking order, and I was like, "Fuck, yep, I know my place, but I'm not going to be quiet about it." Probably should have been right in hindsight, but yeah, I was a little bit of a gobby jube back then. Yeah, we just did our stuff. I was lucky enough to get selected to do the JNCO courses about 18 to 24 months in. So become weapons instructor and range safety supervisor.
Yeah, right.
But during that period, I broke my leg at some stage. I don't even remember how, but I just remember being in pain. So I was probably just drunk one night. Or we played a lot of touch footy and stuff back then, but then touch would turn into tackle. And so I didn't get to do the tactics course, which is the corporal's tactics course. So got backhorsed on that and then just kept pushing it back. And then they're like, finally like, "Oh, you've got to do tactics." And then you're getting posted to Wagga. I'm like, "See ya, I'm out."
What was in Wagga? RI?
Recruits, yeah. Training recruits. I wasn't even sure whether it would be like weapons instructor down at recruits or whether it would be like, I wasn't sure what the role was, but it was not something I wanted to do. So
you never wanted to do RI?
Nah. Like, I don't feel like I'd be a good leader, to be honest, mate. So was a shit troop myself, so how could I teach someone else how to be a good soldier or airman or airwoman or
non-binary?
Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't think I would have been up to that, and I'm definitely not the person I am today back then. So it's like polar opposite. So
yeah, you do seem like that from talking about being a bit of a loudmouth and leading the charge and being gobby and stuff. I wouldn't have picked that.
Yeah, it's a reflective piece because, like, again, I didn't like that person I was in defence. So I'm sure we've talked about it, but this year's the first year that I've actually been happy to call myself a veteran for Anzac Day. Like, I've always had my little strawberries and cream over there, as I call it, and I felt like it was a participation medal.
It kind of is. Just got to rock up.
Yeah, I've had some people out there like talk to me about it and talk about how like sometimes you are sacrificing your mind and your body for 4 years. Well, I did 5.5, but you are sacrificing a lot for the potential of something to happen. Nothing happened for me other than Op Resolute or whatever it was back in G20 Summit or whatever it was, and flood assist. But that's all the roles I did. But that's, yeah, I was able to reflect on it and go, you know what, I did do 5.5 years that a lot of other people haven't done. So maybe I should value it myself, because other people was like, oh, you should do it. And I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good time in my life. Like, there was some good times in it, but there was also some shit times. So,
yeah, dude, I fully understand that sentiment. It took me many, many years to be willing to wear my single swinger Coke bottle and call myself a veteran, because I never deployed and did the jobs that I thought were worthy of calling yourself a veteran. And it was a pretty common problem, right? It's people that work in support roles and don't deploy and stuff are like, fuck, I did nothing, I'm not a veteran. You sort of look up to the guys that have got, big racks on their chest and like, that's a veteran.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, we do have to remind ourselves that we did sign that line with the intention of we would give our life if it came to it, and if we had maybe trained up quicker and got deployed within that first couple of years when we were hard charging and ready to go, we would have, as a lot of people did. 18 months in, they were off to Afghan or Iraq. Yeah, I definitely understand. It's a hard thing to get over and swallow, but and you like that. Have you seen that fucking Kermit the Frog meme where it's thank you for your service, and it's like him like spending like throwing money at strippers and sitting in a bathtub with a bottle of rum and banging Miss Piggy from behind.
I haven't, but I'm going to check it.
Crying in the shower. It's like, thank you for your service. Yeah, I'll flash it up on the screen. It's pretty funny. If you've ever had to lodge a DVA claim, you know how it can feel like a full-time job. Between the endless paperwork, the complex fine print, and trying to navigate the bureaucracy, the system can completely wear you down. That is exactly why we've partnered with Kai Baldwin and the team at BAC, Baldwin Advocacy and Claims. Kai and his team are professional advocates. Their entire job is to step into your shoes, take over the communication with DVA, and ensure you actually get the support and outcomes you're entitled to. You don't have to stress over the jargon or spend months fighting the system on your own. BAC handles the heavy lifting from start to finish. What I respect most about Kai is his straightforward approach. BAC operates on a completely fixed fee. There's no hidden percentages, no guessing games, and they have strict ethical standards built into how they operate. I want you to know I don't take this recommendation lightly. I truly believe Kai has your back. You don't have to navigate the DVA system alone. Let the professionals handle it. Head over to baldwinclaims.com.au and see how Kai and the BAC team can help. Back to the show.
It's funny you say about that. I got pulled out a jumper from at home the other day because the World Cup's coming up. I did my recruits in Adelaide back in 2006 when the World Cup was on. Australia was doing really well, and I was blind drunk after going to Red Square in Adelaide one weekend that we're allowed out. Must have won money on the pokies or something like that, and bought like a Tim Cahill jacket and still got it there the other day, and I shared the story, and then I probably shared a little bit too much with my young daughter. My mum was over and my wife's there, and they're like, you shouldn't have said that. Yeah. Red Square, I'm not sure if you've been to Adelaide, but it's like where all the strip clubs are and all the nightclubs and stuff like that. Yeah. Like
the red light district?
Yeah, pretty much.
What's Tim Cahill? Is that soccer or something?
Yeah, he's probably Australia's best soccer player ever.
Cool.
Yeah.
Know nothing about it.
That's
Dumb
fine.
game. Fuck soccer.
What's your code of choice?
NRL.
Yeah.
NRL and NHL.
Yep.
I like hockey and footy. I like the fast-paced, hard-hitting score.
Can understand with your ties back to Canada, mate.
Yeah. I got right into hockey when I was over there. Saw lots of live games and played a bit of shinny on the ponds myself.
I love how they get into the biff still.
Oh, yeah,
Just gloves down and on.
Part of the game. They have dudes that are like, that's just their role on the team as the enforcer, is to punch on. I went to a game once. It was like the Q Cup sort of thing. It was like the league under the NHL, which is they're called the Calgary Hitmen. And dude, it is just basically boxing on ice. It's fucking so many fights. There was one fight where all 5 players and the goalies all punched on, and then they all got sin bin. So for 2 minutes, the ice was empty. It was just covered in sticks and gloves.
Oh, I love it. Now you can't even slap anyone in the NRL and get away with it.
Oh, no, the biff's all right. Like, I understand all the, the HIA stuff and trying to protect players, but friendly old punch on where they're both involved, like, that's all right. That's all right. I mean, boxing's still a sport, right?
Yep, 100%.
And MMA?
That's probably the closest to fame I've got. I actually played schoolboy footy at Keebra Park on the Gold Coast. It wasn't that great. I didn't go anywhere with it, obviously, but there's a couple of players from our team that made it. One's an NRL coach now.
Oh, true.
Oh, Benji Marshall.
You played with Benji?
Yeah, so I went to a different school until grade 12, and then we had a trial game against the Canberra Raiders under 21 side, and he was over on a rugby union trip with his 2 mates, Tamati and Taj, and came onto the field and grabbed the ball and did the Benji thing and ran 70 metres and scored. And he was the first one that started that big influx of Kiwis into Keebra.
Yeah, right.
It was all back then. It was only the Aussies and the Serbians, a big school, but now it's like 90% Kiwis, I think.
Yeah, right. Serbs, they're a rough bunch.
There used to be some turf wars. Like after school down there was a local park, and there used to be like massive punch-ons.
Cane fights. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Did you get involved?
No.
Yeah. Did you punch on much when you were with anyone when you were a kid? Any fights?
Heaps. Heaps, mate. I just had that fight in me, right? Like from that early childhood stuff. There was a lot happening at home. But yeah, so you just had to punch on. But yeah. Well, I had some good mates at school, but I was always the one that would be like friends with, like I'd have 1 or 2 close mates and then friends with most other people. So that always encouraged the people that wanted to be part of the homie group to try and punch on with me because they just for shits and gigs.
What group were you in?
I wasn't like, yeah, I just played. So I went to one school, Benola High on the Gold Coast. We played touch footy a lot. It was like if you get in shit, you weren't allowed on the team. So
yeah, right.
Tried to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, right. Gold Coast was pretty rough back in the day. How old are you now?
40.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so pretty close to my schooling years. Sunny Coast, I was up in Clowntown, but yeah, they say Sunny Coast and Gold Coast were rough as guts.
Oh, I don't know if it was. Like, it's probably rougher now if I'm honest.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Down on Cav Ave and all that, down in Service Paradise.
Yeah, just even like there's just so much. The population's 100% different. So
yeah, there's a lot of gentrification now though. Like there was a lot more low socioeconomic back in the day.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, but Sunny Coast was always like chill compared to the Gold Coast. So
yeah, old retirement village with a dodgy little underworld nobody knew about.
Nobody?
I knew all about it. Tourists thought it was a sleepy little town. But, yeah, the streets were pretty rough.
Yeah. You can get that anywhere though, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Go out to a little farm stay out at some country town and you don't really know about all the drugs and carnage going on behind the scenes.
So much shit everywhere these days. So
yeah.
The Sunny Coast is what the Gold Coast used to be, like as busy as what it used to be without surface, I guess. Like you got Mooloolaba that's got a few clubs and stuff like that, but nothing like the Gold Coast, I don't think so.
Nah, fuck no. Gold Coast is an animal of its own. It's massive.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So you did 5.5 years as an Aggie. What was the catalyst for departure?
I'm getting told that I was most likely getting posted to Wagga. That I had that girl we're talking about. We just started up a relationship then around that time, and as I threw myself into it 150%, like because someone was showing me attention. It's probably something in reflection I never had my whole life. So someone showing me some attention, and that's probably why. I can't say why I did what I did, but that's probably why I threw myself into it, because someone's showing me some attention. So I was like, no, fuck that. I've got to get out. I found a job as like a lab tech with a oil and gas company. So we went out into the mine sites. They were drilling up the coal samples, and would put them into tubing and then test the gas qualities of them and report that back. So I did that for about 2 years. Multiple relationship breakdowns in that 2 years as well. So I had that, and then got back into retail, so I could just be back in Brisbane because I was away all the time with the oil and gas stuff.
Were you happy to leave? Did you walk straight into another job and you were happy to do so, or was it?
I had to have another job, so I put my discharge paperwork in, and I was out within 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Because I had another job to go to.
Yeah.
But was I happy with that job? No, it was just the first job that came up. I was looking for anything and everything. So
were you happy to get out, or were you sad?
I think I was happy to get out at the time. Like, if in reflection, probably would have been good to stay in and try and do something else or continue. But at the time, I was happy to get out and be away from going away at the shit times of year, because as an Aggie, you would get all the shit times when all the ranges weren't booked for everything else. So it was always over that state of origin period where we'd be away for 4-6 weeks and and just get when everyone else is at home because origin stuff's on. And we were away probably 6 months of the year most of the time. So
on exercise.
Yeah. So I was happy to be home and have a base. When I joined, I moved from base probably 6 months after I got up to Amberley, and I moved into Indooroopilly. So I moved into the city and I commuted backwards and forwards. And I made a great bunch of friends that are still my friends now. They've stuck through, they've all my shit that I went through and are still around now. So
civvies or? Yeah.
So whilst I went out with the boys and stuff on occasion, I would tend to not be involved in the the in crew, even when I was in either. So I had some mates and stuff like that. I had one real good mate that looked after me and took me under his wing, even though he was more junior to me in rank, but he was a little bit older than me, and I fucked that relationship up too. It's so much shit reflection. When I think back about it, I'm like, why? But what do you do? All you can do is try and not be like that in the future. Well, now I can.
Yeah, that's it. Like I was saying, take the lessons, have your growth mindset, better than being stuck in that being a piece of shit forever.
100%. Yeah.
What's reflecting back on your life in the Air Force? 5.5 years is not a bad stint. Were you proud to wear the uniform?
Yeah, I was while I was in. 100% proud. Had to be fit most of the time. Our fitness tests, they made us do it all in. So we had to do 10 chin-ups, or if you're doing chin-ups, you got called a pussy. So you had to do overhand chin-ups. So whatever, they pull-ups. Not sure. 2.4 in under 10 and without just in PT gear, and then the 40 feet unheld sit-up. So we had to be fairly fit. So fitness was a huge part of it. So I was able to get fit. Gave me money to be able to drink from Wednesday through to Sunday, which is a huge part of the culture, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I was proud to wear the uniform. I was happy to be in. And when I wasn't in a relationship, like that's when internet dating started to real kick off. So I used that to my advantage a little bit. So
post pictures of you in uniform.
no, I never did that. It was just talk about it, right? So I was like, like you'd try and line it up when you were away on exercise and come back to Brisbane and you'd have a couple of dates lined up. Can't say they were all quality, but quantity over quantity back then, I think. But
what do you reckon had the most impact on you in your Air Force career?
What did? Probably the belief from some of my colleagues and mates that I was actually an okay person. Like, because I knew I probably wasn't a good person back then, but just kept running with it, right? Because I didn't know any different. So yeah, but like getting on all the courses that I was able to get on to try and better myself. Like there was that belief that I could do that, and I don't know why, but I was the first one out of our like cohort to jump onto that alongside one other dude that I graduated with from basic course. So there was obviously some belief in there in me, which I could have done a lot better, but yeah. So I think that was a big thing, and
humbled you a bit.
Yeah. So like I was saying before, my corporal when I first got up there, very quiet. He was a grey man, still is a grey man. So we haven't got to it yet, but went on to study paramedicine. We'll talk about that soon. But he was the first person when I moved back to Queensland from Canberra. Was the first person that I met at station. So it was my corporal then, and then took me under his wing back at Durack Ambulance Station, and he's now on the board of the charity that we've got as well, which we'll get to in a little bit as well. But
does he agree that you're a piece of shit, or is it?
He doesn't.
Are you hard on yourself?
He doesn't. He was only there for like 6-8 months, so
that's enough to get to know someone.
Yeah. But that was also.
I feel like maybe you weren't as bad as you think you are.
Also, that was nearly 20 years ago. So he's been a paramedic for nearly that long as well. So maybe he doesn't remember so much. But no, maybe I wasn't. But yeah, I think
in your own judgment, you were.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, any memorable moments? Anything funny, crazy?
No, I just loved all the bullshit that we used to get up to. Like we had our rifle flight, so there was 4 rifle flights and 5 in the end, and then like a 30,
like a
30 guys. Yeah, so three sections of 10 guys, and then your sergeant and your flight commander. So I don't know what. Yeah,
it's a platoon.
Yeah, platoon. Yeah. So there was 5 of them, and then a recon section. And we used to just always kidnap each other and then put ransoms on people. So just for shits and gigs. And I remember there was one time that, because I was such fucking loudmouth, that I got taken in, got zip tied to a chair, and then it's all chaos because they were just those dividing walls. And they found out that I was in there. They probably let me go for a little bit and just let me cop a little bit of heat, which is fair. But then all hell broke loose. It was like the wall broke open, and like chairs were flying everywhere. Just shit like that, and it's fun. I know. There's so much shenanigans, and that's what got you through it, right?
Yeah.
Got to become a Bushmaster driver, so went down to Pucker and do that, and that was fun.
Were you sort of ramping up for a deployment?
they were always like, I don't think the whole squadron ever went on another deployment until 2012, 2013. I think the whole squadron went. There was attachments that went across to Iraq, so they sent some guys across to Iraq. There was a lot throughout the UAE, but then the whole squadron went across to Tarankat, I think it was. I'm not sure what they did over there because that's when I'd left and I didn't really have too much contact with them anymore because I was ashamed of who I was. So the whole, like, there was always that ramp up, but because they had so much money, we had like a mobility section and there was like 10 of us in the mobility section, right? But there was like 20 Bushmasters there. Like, yeah. I guess all the range days and shit were fun. Like, live fire was good. You got so much ammunition. I remember one day I shot like 4 84mm rockets because we had to use it. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. Yeah, like sometimes my memory is quite shit. Like maybe I am blocking out a lot of that stuff because of how I felt about myself back then. So sometimes I don't remember a whole lot, and sometimes, like you said in yours, your memory's sometimes a bit skewed, and dates and times and actually how the story went may be a bit different than how I remember it. And I think that's just that protective factor for yourself to try and go fuck and just not remember that shit. The same as
block it out.
Yep.
So you said you started feeling proud a few years ago.
Yep.
What was the turning point?
I think since I've started now as a social worker in that mental health space, working with veterans, and I'm working with a vast spectrum of veterans. So the youngest guy I work with is 24. The oldest guy I work with is 92. And we've all got different stories, right? But they're all similar where we've all signed up to serve our country. Like as shit as that, like stupid as that sounds to most people, I signed up because I wanted to serve our country, and I actually probably wanted to get out some of that young rage and go to war back then. But not that, there was a fair bit going on in 2006 after 9/11, and but if I wanted to really do that, I probably would have chose a different job.
Fucking subliminally chose the one that you knew you wouldn't get too much action. Subconsciously, rather.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So you got out and started working
Worked oil and gas for 2 years. I worked at Freedom Furniture.
Oh, yeah. Loading trucks or something? Or
no, I was
selling shit?
I was in the Valley store. So I ended up working in the warehouse for like 2-3 weeks, and I was like, my body just couldn't do it. Then ended up on the sales floor, and they wanted to train me up to be a manager, but I was like, nah. And then interviewed for Apple, so the Apple retail store. They're opening up the store in the city, and I ended up getting a job there in their back of house section. So what it was you just organise all the stock and stuff. There wasn't a whole heap of lifting, and you were that one that delivered the item up to the floor and gave it to the person selling it to the person. But it was good money for a retail job, like really good pay. It was on par with like what Defence was paying me, and it was shift work, but just Monday to Sunday, so 7-day roster. But
they can afford to pay their Western staff if it's a child labour from the phones.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But yeah, it was very, very cultish. But that's a huge part of my journey to become who I am today, because they were always making you reflect, and not just, you're actually getting some positive feedback, right? Like as we've probably learned over that last 6 weeks with the Vet 1 course, that I hate receiving positive feedback, but if it's positive and specific, and they'll go, you did a good job because of this, this and this, and this is what I liked about it, I can take that feedback. But just general feedback, I still fucking hate. But it was negative specific feedback too, where I was like, hey, mate, you did this. This is what I observed. This is what happened and this is what you could do next time. So it started me on that reflective journey to really look at myself as well.
Who would have thought? Oh,
and
Apple,
yeah, we wouldn't be in the housing market if it wasn't for Apple either. So part of our wage, we can put 10% of our pay packet aside to put into shares. So you'd buy the shares at 15%. In a 6-month period, you'll put away, like whichever there's a lowest amount, you would buy those shares at 15% less than that price. And yeah, so I think I've worked it out over the 5 years. I may have put about $35,000 into shares, like 10% of my wage over that 5-year period. And I've already sold, like we sold a lot, like probably 110,000 to buy our first place in Canberra. But I've just looked this morning, shares are $300 a share at the moment, or just under. But they did a stock split for 3 to 1. So every one stock I would get an extra 3. So they're worth, so if you look at that, they're worth $1,200 a share at the moment. I paid $80 a share for my first few. So it was a smart decision.
Nice.
But I wouldn't be in the housing market now if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, right. Nice.
So yeah, worked for Apple for 5 years. During that time, I'd met my now wife. We've been together since 2012. So it was about a year after I left defence. It's probably starting to go down that same pathway again, but then, yeah, decided that my dad was not worth to be a part of my life anymore. And after an incident, and I haven't spoken to him since. Yeah, met my wife. We had a bit of a not so great start, but we've worked through it. We've been together now, since 2012. Got married in 2017. I actually took her name when we got married because that's how much I hated my past and hated that attachment to that name.
Yeah, nice.
My wife's family is amazing, so I was able to take my wife's name. And during that period as well, her dad got pretty crook. So he had myeloma, so like a blood cancer. This is when the paramedics were there and I came around and they were there and I seen the way that they acted and I was like, fuck, I want to be a paramedic.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I had to do an English course because my school grades were pretty shit. And I had to pass this.
Your maths and stuff was all right?
I did the basic math, but I was like you, like with that basic math, I didn't even try and I'd get an A. I wasn't even maths A. I was like trade and business math or whatever it was called back in the day. Like the easiest of math, like no algebra, none of that shit. So I did that course and then because of my rank in the Defence Force, got into ACU and studied my Bachelor of Paramedicine.
Yeah, nice.
Which, yeah.
And then you started working at QAS?
No, I was part of that period where just after the Com Games, it was ridiculously hard to get a job and everyone wanted to be a paramedic. So I actually got a job with the ACT ambulance service first. So moved to Canberra for 2.5 years.
How was the study if you weren't too academic? Hard?
The first few subjects were hard, but because I put my mind to it, I ended up doing fairly well.
Yeah, needed to get into that study mode.
Yeah, so I look back at my first assignment, but it was at ACU, you've got to do some religious type studies. Yeah. And it was, it's just about philosophy and I look at it, how to be a good person. And again, it was probably what I needed at the time. So yeah, it was one of those assignments. I actually flew to the States in 2015 for my 30th and spent 30 days over there and I did my assignments on the long haul flights. So yeah, did the first one on the way into LA. Then we went to LA, Vegas, flew back to LA, then across to Orlando. So I did another one on the flight to Orlando, and then had to do a video one at like 2:00 in the morning, New York time, like a teleconference kind of one to present as well. And I was like, fuck, doing this while probably half cut in New York.
30 days for your 30th, eh?
Yeah. Wish I could do that every year somewhere, but not achievable.
40 days this year?
It was last year I was 40. We went with a group of people, went across to Fiji and just went to a little island and stayed there for, I think, a week and a half, I think it was, like 10 days. Yeah, it was good. It's a group of friends. We've all got little families and stuff now, and it was good. Good to get away and not do anything.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. So you got through your paramedicine, went down to Canberra. Happy to move around. Yeah, wife came with you, obviously.
Oh, I can't say she was happy, but I think it was when I started paramedicine that we knew I was going to probably have to move in Queensland anyway. And when the job came up in Canberra, we made that decision to move down there based on it having an airport there, and it's going to be a 2-hour flight back to Brisbane, see family. Little did we know that in 2020, COVID would arrive, and that's when we moved down there. So that fucked up all our plans. So the lockdowns down there weren't too bad. Like, we weren't as free as up here, but as a paramedic, my wife's a nurse. So we were able to go around. We didn't have kids at that stage, so we were able to get out and about and go for walks because we live right near nature reserves and stuff like that. So it wasn't too bad. But to come back up here was really hard. And the hardest part was that 2021, our daughter was born in September. So it was about 4 or 5 weeks after that. So I think it's early November. I should remember the date, but I don't because it's, not a great memory. But we had to go into hotel quarantine because my wife's dad become palliative. He hadn't met our daughter or anything yet. He became really unwell, and it was the day before we got out of hotel quarantine that he died.
What did you go to hotel quarantine for? So you could see him?
Yeah, so we could come up. We had to we had to wait for like a week for this exemption to come up.
You're one of those statistics of not being able to see your dying.
Yeah, so we got to see him, but it was the night before he died that he was there. He was comatose. He wasn't reactive, so he never got to meet our daughter.
If you didn't have that hotel quarantine, would you have been able to see him?
Yeah, he didn't go into quarantine until into PAL care before that. So yeah, it was one of the ones where we like got treated like we had fucking leprosy, and it was quite shit time. But in hindsight, now we look back and go, for what? But yeah,
at the time it kind of felt real.
Oh, I didn't agree, but what do? You've got to sometimes play within the in the guidelines. Like, we were lucky to get in. Like, there was people that bought plane tickets and flew up, and then they realised they hadn't applied, and they just got turned around back on the next plane.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the quarantine officers were really good. They had us initially in a 1-bedroom, like just a hotel suite with a bed and stuff like that. But they ended up getting us into like a 1-bedroom apartment with a kitchen and stuff, because our daughter was 4 weeks old at that stage. So they're like, oh, fuck, there's a young family there. And they did well to try and look after us. But still, quite shit.
Yeah, brutal. Was your wife and her dad close?
Yeah, they were. Like, they've always been fairly close and a close family. They're an amazing family and close-knit. They've got their own journey with why they're in Australia. They're from Northern Ireland, and
oh, really?
They decided to escape Belfast in the 80s when all that shit was kicking off, and moved over to Australia so they could give their kids a better life when they had kids. So
they're probably glad now seeing what's going on in Belfast.
I only seen that this morning. How fucked is it?
Dude, I've been binge watching that shit. It's
wild. Right.
It's kicking off.
Yeah, everywhere.
Is going to come back and fucking...
Yeah.
It's, of all the places to fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
They fuck around with Northern Ireland. They will not play nice.
No. No.
City's burning.
Yeah, I seen that this morning. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, there's
and then
they're going around the streets, Molotov cocktail all the asylum seeker sort of accommodation. They're setting up roadblocks and searching cars for immigrants. And
I didn't know this much. And my fear just goes back to the family. Like my wife's family's still got family over there. I don't think they live in Belfast anymore, but live up out of town a little bit. But still.
Yeah. It's going to be a bit of a wild time over there for a while, I think.
Yeah, fuck. Hopefully just a matter of time, I think, until it kicks off everywhere.
Yeah, I know it's a bit of a boiling pot at the moment. But, I try not to make this a political podcast, but fuck me, it's starting to get pretty rowdy.
I don't talk politics myself, mate. I try and stay away from it because everyone's got their opinion, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what social media has done is everyone's opinions, what they think is true. Like there's always three sides to a story, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to stay out of it, especially when it's so close to home and a wild time to live.
It is. We're only a couple of years away from the same thing happening here if action's not taken everywhere. So we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah. So that happened in 2021. Wasn't a great time. We ended up like ACT ambulance was great. Like they gave me, I already had I hadn't taken any leave and I'd been there for a year and a half. Finished like down in Canberra, it was 15 months for a grad program to qualify until you're a qualified paramedic, and you had to sit finals and stuff like that, which pretty intense. One of my scenarios was like, how much can I talk about this shit on here? Can I open slather?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the scenarios was I walked into a unit and it's like there's a 4-month-old baby inside a washing machine that the mum put in there because she couldn't deal with it crying. And I had to run a drowning cardiac arrest on this baby. It was only a mannequin, obviously, but like this is the kind of simulations that they put you into, and
they set up like a room and stuff, and they had a real sim.
Yeah. So it was good because it didn't have a similar exposure with a baby in a washing machine, but had similar exposures with young peoples and stuff like that. So it was a great time in Canberra. I really didn't want to move. I loved it down there.
Yeah, right.
We bought a townhouse down in Tuggeranong, not the greatest part of Canberra, but was overlooking the lake up into the mountains and see snow on the mountains and shit when you're laying in bed, which was really nice. But I love just how open it was and close to the country, and it was like not too far from the snow and but it was the right time to come back up for the family.
Okay, yep.
And then so moved back, got a job back up here with Queensland Ambulance, and another one of your guest, Chris Larkham, was he's also at our station. So
nice. Chris is a good dude.
Yeah. He took me under his wing a bit too. So
nice.
Yeah, like that big brother that was younger than me again, but
he's younger than you, is he?
Yeah.
Fucking bigger though.
Oh, he's a fucking big dude, isn't he? I would like to see him pissed off. Yeah. But very knowledgeable and very switched on dude, and you wouldn't even know about his story unless he
he said he hadn't told it to anyone until decided he saw a couple of episodes and decided to come and share.
Yeah, so he was a huge part of why I loved working at our station. So we just had a great station. It was like a great group and all worked together.
Did you tell him you're in the Air Force?
Yeah, he knew. Did I live it down? No.
I can imagine a combat veteran of the infantry would have a bit of banter towards the Air Force.
100%. Why not?
Especially fucking Adji.
Yeah. It was funny though. I was saying it the other day when we were down at Currumbin. Said it to someone, they're like, oh, but now we look back and go, fuck, you guys had it smarter because you got all the training gear, and now they actually get some trips and stuff like that. It might not be too bad, but still, I wish I could. That's the only thing I would change, or do something that I could come out of it with some skills that I could actually use other than going into security or working on Manus Island or something like that. Like, not that that's bad, but I wish I came out with a trade or like an AvTech or something you can do. That would be my only thing.
Yeah, people need to think about that as well when they join the military, that it's not going to be forever as much as we all think that it will.
Yep.
Even people that do 30-year careers go and do something afterwards.
Yeah, 100%. And I went to a transition seminar yesterday out of Ipswich. I meant to have a booth out there with a charity, and I decided not to have a booth, and I'd just walk around and talk to people, and had a chat with a young dude there, and he was looking to get out and didn't know what he was going to do. And when I was having a chat with him, I'm not sure if you heard, but Griffith Uni's opened a Griffith Veterans College.
No.
So it's very similar to the program at ACU, but they were there, and that's where I studied my Masters of Social Work. So had a great relationship with Pato and Tori. So took him over there, and we were just chatting about, like, is it smart to get out now, or is it probably a good thing to potentially stay in with how the world is with the job market and the affordability crisis, and study something that you want to come out of the Defence Force with. So use your DAS to go back and study and keep your medical, keep your DHA house, keep all your good, like, not too bad paying job while you're studying, and come out with a degree and then hit the job market, rather than discharging, going to uni for 3 years, working odd jobs to try and get yourself through uni and then starting. So
yeah, it's kind of hard though. What's the DAS? Is that the
Defence Assisted Study Scheme?
Where they'll give you the time to study.
They give you the time to study, but they actually help you pay for your course as well.
Yeah, depends on your job though, because like if you're in the infantry and they're short staffed, they're not going to let you go.
Yeah.
So it all depends. If you're in a critical trade, you'd be fucking headbutting the wall trying to get approval for that.
Yeah, it happened when I was in, because I was meant to do an exam and they said, no, you can't have it. I was like, we're going on the same exercise we do every year.
yeah.
We're not ramping up for exercise. We're not ramping up for anything. Like,
yeah.
And this is back when I was like, I'm going to go into one of those government agencies, and I was doing security, terrorism and counter-terrorism or something like that at uni, and I was like, yeah, going to be a sick cunt.
But you're right. On the flip side of that, you can, I know people that have worked full-time and studied, and we have a lot of downtime in defence, right? Like, as much as, jobs on, there's plenty of time where you're fucking sitting around twiddling your thumbs, which you can use to read textbooks and stuff. But yeah, working out, doing after hours and weekends, it's a grind, but you're getting paid a good wage, and then you can walk out with a degree, which I know plenty of people that have done.
Yeah, it's like the guys that were on the vet course with us, there's some of them that are still current serving and have their own businesses on the outside.
Yeah.
Like that's a new world Defence Force, right?
Just don't ask for approval. Depending on what it is.
Yeah, it depends what role you're in as well, right? Like, yeah, so it's good that that's happening though, because maybe the Defence Forces realise that there is life after defence, and you're not going to be there forever. So they're working with you, and at times, and not against you all the time, I guess.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that have got little side hustles. Even the Valor Vinyls, who I get my stickers from, he's still in.
Oh wow! Yeah,
he's at 89 RAAF as an infantry soldier, and he's got a little side gig of selling stickers.
Yeah, I forget the name of the recovery centre down at Brendale, but there's a recovery centre at Brendale with like the hot and cold plunge pools and the saunas and the recovery boots, and
I've seen that. I haven't been there. Activate or something.
Yeah, I think that's it. But he's a current serving member, and what he wanted to do was he does a lot of CrossFit and just wanted somewhere for recovery. And he's like, well, fuck, if I'm going to do something with my recovery, I may as well be able to make money off it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's set that up, and I'm like, that's fucking smart. That's something like I would have never thought about.
Yeah, true. Instead of just buying all the equipment and doing it for yourself, make a bit of money off it. Not a bad idea. Yeah, for sure. Get a bit of that hustle mindset. It's if you just go to work and suck eggs and do what you got to do and kick rocks and hate your life and then get out and then you're like, fuck, now what? It's not going to end well.
No.
Go in with a plan. Go in with all right, I'm going to be a soldier, sailor, airman, do whatever I do. But then afterwards, I'm going to do this.
Yep.
And while you're in, make tracks towards that. That's probably some of the best advice I could give.
Yeah, and I guess it's along that same lines of a similar conversation, but there was an event that I went to the other day called Walking Off the Wound Within. You heard of that one?
No.
No, so it's a walk.
It's very wordy.
Yeah, so it's a walk up at Clontarf for a guy named Andrew that was ex-infantry, I think, and then got out and become a fiery, and had his battle with mental health and suicidality, and he started a walk from Mildura to Adelaide and did that, but a year later lost his life to suicide.
Yeah, right.
And so from that, his family had done this walk. So there's one in Brisbane, there's one in Darwin, there's one in Mildura. I'm sorry to the family if I'm butchering this, but then there's also one over in WA. And this one was run by Lee, one of his mates that served with him. And they do a 5, 10 or 20K walk and then come back in. The army band was at and stuff there, and there was the cops were there, the paramedics were there, and then there was a nurso and medic from the Air Force there as well. But it was one of the young girls there that wasn't even part of it, that was a medic, and she's like, oh, I'm thinking about getting out, I'm thinking about doing this. And I'm like, what do you want to do? And she's like, oh, maybe nursing or paramedicine. I'm like, why don't you do the DAS now, go for your commission, become a nurso, do your paramedicine, and then once you've got it, you can stay in reserves and then get out and be a paramedic if you want. Or you can go on in the Air Force, they've got the C-17s that you can be set up as the field hospitals and stuff. And then from that, you can transfer across to RFDS, Life Flight, one of the ones that does aeronautical, like that.
Helicopter rescue stuff.
Even the ones, there's a company we've picked up a few patients for over at the airport that does retrievals, sends a jet over with a retrieval team, and you go over and stabilise and then bring the patient back from overseas. And you do that with their insurance agencies and stuff like that too. So there's so many opportunities. And she was like, oh, wow, I never actually thought about that.
Mm.
But it's not talked about in defence either.
Nah.
They don't let you know about your options to try and...
Nah. That's what we've spoken about before, and I've spoken about it on here many times. So we need like a spreadsheet where we can all contribute. We can all add things, so like options when you get out, discounts when you're a veteran, veteran programs and stuff that you can get involved with. And, so we can all collab on this spreadsheet because there's fucking so many things out there.
Yep.
So many things we don't know about. Like in that vet course, I just bumped into you in the sauna and you're like, oh, I'm doing this vet course. Why don't you jump on it? And then I told Tomo and Tomo came as well. And
Yep.
now we've all had this experience together, which is awesome. Fucking hell, if I didn't go to the sauna that day, I never would have known about it.
Yeah. It's sometimes that's so shit that it happens. That's kind of why it's got me into where I am today. So we can probably pivot to that, right? So
you did social work at some stage. You decided to do extra study.
I was struggling with my health, with my back and my hips and stuff with paramedicine, and probably a little bit of like with that became less sleep, which mental health started to rear its ugly head. And I ended up going part-time, like on a FWA, so flexible work arrangement with the QAS and doing that. But during that time, I picked up a week on the mental health co-responder. So QAS, you go out with a mental health clinician and you do work on mental health jobs in their community to try and keep some people out of hospital, which was always my goal. I hated taking people to hospital, but it's kind of the community as well. Like you have to take people to hospital to a point of care sometimes. So we won't go into that too much. But during this shift, I'd signed on to the ambulance. Like it was one of the little, I don't even know what they're VWs these days, I think, but one without lights and sirens. It's just a little van that we'd drive around in. It still said ambulance, but was like just a road speed response, and had the iPad where I can look at jobs that are around. And there was a 80-year-old lady with approximately 80-year-old lady with chest pain, and I was 2 minutes down the road, so I was like, just put me on it. I'll call for some backup if I need it. Walked into her house, and I used to be like in a mindset of sick, not sick, like to how quickly you need to run through everything. And this one was like 50-50, like, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to, it's chest pain. I've got to go through the motions anyway. So went through all my like paramedic assessments, and then noticed up on I asked a question to her, like, what's happened before the chest pain today? And she's like, my doctor's just told me I need to move into a nursing home. I was like, oh, cool. So that's made you feel pretty anxious? And she's like, yeah. And I was looking up on the wall, and there was a similar to what you've got up there in your office with a photo of a husband and his medals, and he served in the Vietnam War. And I was like, oh, so who's that up on the wall? And she's like, that's my husband. I was like, oh, so you've got a gold card, like a War Widow gold card? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, what help do you get around here? And she's like, I can get help. And I was like, yeah, love, you can get some help. So I dug into it a lot, and found out that she had some quite complex health issues herself. She wasn't able to keep a house and do all the shopping and do everything herself, but she wasn't able to get any assistance with that either. So going through my own journey through the DVA claims process, I knew about Veterans Home Care. So I called them up and organised an assessment for them to come out and see if they can help with a cleaning, a nursing, and just daily living stuff. Got to set up with a new GP that was more veteran focused and understood DVA would be able to assist her. And then I was finished it up, did all my paperwork, and ran the social workers for QAS. And I was like, hey guys, this is what I've done. What do you think you can do to help this young lady out? They're like, Josh, you've done pretty much everything. There's a few things, but have you ever considered being a social worker? And I was like, nope, what the fuck's a social worker? And so, I had a great conversation with the social workers and that up in there, and they were able to guide me into a good school to go to. So I ended up signing up to the Master's Social Work at Griffith. I ended up going on a year's leave without pay just to try and dip my toes in the water. I didn't want to do what I did with defence and just clear it. I took a year's leave without pay to see if I could get my body sorted, and then get that sorted. But body went downhill. But yeah, signed up and started 6 months later. Started the degree, and we're here now. But in that journey, there was a bit of a dark time with my mental health, mate. So,
did the sort of trauma response sort of stuff at QAS, like going out to hard jobs and stuff, contribute to that, or?
I think it was a lot of everything, but for me, it was mostly the sleep and the pain, because I've got the typical soldier things with the degenerative disc disorder and stuff like that, which doesn't prove to be much of a problem these days. But I've, thanks to my family, got this amazing gene. It's called HLA-B27. And once it gets activated with trauma in your back, in your late teens to early 30s, it can start an autoimmune response. So there's a lot of things that you can get, like rheumatoid arthritis, IBS, and the lucky one that I've been diagnosed with is ankylosing spondylitis or spondylosis. Always get confused, but it's a process where your body starts to attack the attachment of the tendons. I could be butchering this, but it starts to pretty much fuse your spine together. So for me, sleep at night is pretty shit, and like that afternoon, from about 2 a.m. onwards, like the back pain's pretty fucked.
Yeah, right.
So I've been able to manage that now with gym and exercise, similar to what you're saying, and modify what I was able to do to try and get some weight off to help. Then also, try and help in other ways. But because of that, I started to self-medicate with alcohol. Started drinking about a bottle of gin a night.
Gin, that's an interesting choice.
Well, I don't know why, but it just was nice to drink.
Gin and tonic sort of stuff.
Yeah. Even my wife didn't know what was going on because she was working back at work because our daughter was 2 at the time. She was back at work and she was only working 3 days a week, but I was always sleeping in because I'd be up most of the night and then I'd go back to bed and sleep in. So it wasn't really, she didn't really know, but it came to a pinnacle at one stage where I was like, fuck, I'm so much of a burden on my family now that I think it's probably best if I take my journey out. And the suicidality really crept in, mate. And one night, I think it was about, 1 a.m. I was up drinking because she'd go to bed at 9 and that's when I'd start drinking.
Your daughter,
my wife. Yeah. So when I wouldn't drink, like I'd have like a drink or two, but then would start heavily drinking.
Hiding her family.
Yeah. One night I was just like, fuck it, I'm out. I'm done. And had my tree picked out that I was going to drive into. Had car keys in my hand. I was ready to go. Watching an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, having a laugh. Like wasn't even like was in that period where I was like happy with my decision. And my daughter woke up like she was finally sleeping through the night. Like for the first 2 years, it was fucked. She's up like 5 times a night. She woke up that night and just started losing her mind, and hearing that snapped me out of that decision process.
Yeah, right.
And I'm so fucking thankful for it now. That like I understand now that for me, thinking that I was not going to burden my family by taking my own life.
Yeah, it would have been massive.
Yeah, it would have been a way bigger burden.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I am doing what I do now as well. So trying to use my experience to try and help others to get through similar experiences. Because it's not too uncommon.
Turning point for you.
100%.
Yeah, right. So you've started Mindful Mates.
Yeah, so
Was that like almost an instantaneous sort of thing from that night forward? You decided to help, or
No, it was a bit of a process. I started social work just so I could have like something that someone identified that I could do, right? So I was like, fuck, I need something else. I was 38 at the time. I was like, fuck, I've got half my life ahead of me to still work. I don't want to be on Centrelink or whatever for the rest of my fucking life. I want something more than that. So I put my head into social work and started my own recovery journey. So noticed my psychiatrist at the time fucking had a good hard word to me, and that helped with that recovery journey too. And from that moment on, I quit alcohol, cold turkey. Don't know if it was a smart idea. I didn't have any seizures or anything like that, but quit that cold turkey and really put my head down into uni and focusing on that.
Still quit?
No. It's such a social thing in Australia, right? I say to people, like, I now drink because I want to, not because I have to.
Yeah.
It wasn't until about a year ago. Yeah, it's probably about a year ago, and my mate and I went to go watch the Lions play. It was my first game of like a live AFL that I was watching live.
Okay.
And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to have a beer tonight. He's like, you sure, bro? Like, you sure you like what's going on? Are you okay? Like,
sobriety, yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's because I want to have a beer. It's not because I have to have a beer. And probably only had 4 beers and it was trashed, but it was a good night.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, went on that journey, and then we've got another paramedic mate he did his gap year as a truckie and stuff like that. So, but he's he's still a paramedic now, and he's like that business minded. So he's got some investment properties, and he's been real smart with his money. He's like, why don't you we talked about me doing this, and he's like, why don't you start it now? So, I listed the company back in 2024. So when I started in 2025, that the business name would have been around for a while. So it seemed a little bit more credible to engage with someone that's been around. The business name's been around for a little bit. That was his advice. And from there, did my first placement in the old adults mental health service within Queensland Health, and absolutely loved my time there. And so that was another tick towards me going to do this. And then did my second placement with an organisation. I'm not even going to say their name because it wasn't the greatest experience. But I'm not sure if it was because they thought I was going to stay on post that. But during that experience, during that time, I was like, no, fuck it. I've got to do this for me. My body's still not great. My mind's still not 100%. I need to be able to focus on me at the same time as my business.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why when we had that conversation the first time we met, and you're like, with in-caps and stuff like that, I was like, holy fuck, like this could help me both like financially, but mentally and physically as well. So now, like, I'm at a point where I'm not in the red anymore. So I'm starting to actually earn some money and can pay myself a little wage or reinvest that back into the business. And that's what I'm doing at the moment. But that's been able to give me that up to be able to do what I do now. So if it wasn't for that conversation back then, I was like, holy fuck, like I'm going to have to get a job with somewhere.
Yeah, right.
So that's changed that trajectory. But that's, again, something that's not well known, right?
Yeah, fuck. That's awesome. Yeah, it's kind of, it's only known if you're medically discharged because you have to have in-cap sorted before you leave. In your transition process these days, it's on your checklist. But, people that voluntarily separate, they'll never know.
No.
But yeah, massive.
So now I do that. Graduated I looked at it the other day. So I started practicing the day after. I already had some clients and stuff lined up. I started practicing and had my allied health billing code for DVA the day after I had that letter to graduate. I had signed up with the ASW, got all my insurances on board, and I was practicing the day after I was able to. Worked from home for the first 3 months. Home started to feel like work because work was at home, and because I was working like 40 hours a week from home, like with breaks and stuff like that. I decided to look for an office. I found where I am now at Holland Park, because an office about the same size as this room. So what's it, 3x3 or something like that?
Yeah, 3x3.
Yeah, it was about $500 a week. And the place that I got at Holland Park is, I think, about $400 a week, but it's 65 square meters. So that's where that, we haven't talked about yet, but the drop-in space that's there for veterans, first responders, healthcare workers, or anyone that really needs to come in and just have a safe space to come into, came into fruition. So we've got my office. We've got a spare office next to mine that people can come in and use if they need it. Got some massage chairs. Got a projector. Missing the NBA finals today. I think the game 4's on. But then you've got like the World Cup. We'll put it up there. Veteran Gaming Australia donated a gaming PC for people to come in and use if they want to do some gaming. Nice. Coffee machine, just kitchen, just somewhere safe for people to come in. And
how long's that been open now?
Since probably mid-March.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was right at the.
But I had my official opening the day before Anzac Day.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
thought it was
Friday.
like, yeah.
Yeah, I remember because it was that weekend that I had my anniversary as well.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Is it getting utilised?
Yeah, so I've got a GP coming in to use the space next Thursday and Friday to see some of the veterans that she helps out. Got a few. I'd like to just get like some other people in the allied health space to come in and just work with, right? I never want to control it. Like, I don't even charge people to come in and use the space because my rent's so affordable. It's like, I understand the DVA pays us pittance sometimes, like with the allied health schedule. So it's all about just trying to do what's right for the provider, but then also what's right for the veteran, because then they're able to see someone. So it is getting utilised, and I run sessions out of there. It's normally good when nobody else is there when I'm running a social work session, because we can sit in the massage chairs and have a session, or we can turn on the PlayStation. There's a Nintendo 64 there that we can play some old school GoldenEye or something like that, to just have that stigma broken down, because we know that veterans don't like to talk about their mental health, right?
Yeah.
So if you got something there that's a common, like a little bit of a stigma type, like breaker, like so some playing some games and having a conversation, even in the massage chairs, like you got people that'll like be having that pressure on their body, but then they're able to talk. So it's like, I'm finding it really useful.
It's good to have a distraction. Like they say some of the best time you can do therapy is on a walk or a run where you're not facing each other and you're both sort of heading in one direction.
Yep, and so that's another one that we do. So the office is in Holland Park. I used to live just down the road, so there's a good little walking track where we can go for a walk and go down. There's a coffee shop. It's like a 2.5K like little walk. So if someone's in pain, we don't have to walk. There's somewhere like benches along the way. You can sit down and have a chat. So it's like not traditional mental health, like psychology, or anyone that you just go into a room and you feel so trapped and so clinical. Trying to break that down to make it feel like it's not a clinical space, because that's another thing that I fucking hated. I'm trying to do everything that I hated. I'm trying to do the polar opposite, because maybe I'm not alone.
Yeah,
in feeling like that. So
100%. I've talked about it on here many times. The white coat sort of the white coat treatment of veterans. It's like know your audience, learn what your audience wants, and it's not that white coat fucking watered down, treating you like a broken flower. It's we're different. We're built different.
And it's that lived experience that, like, someone goes to me, oh, well, oh yeah, this happened. I was like, fuck, yeah, I can remember that. And they're like, oh yeah, you actually did do something like that. So it's that, like, yeah. So you see it with like the open arms peer workers. They can build some great rapport with their workers, right? With their clientele.
So would you call that that's your why to break down the walls?
Yeah, and really help veterans find that they do have purpose post service, right? It's all about just refinding it and trying to be able to live with the good and the bad. Because there's in every walks of life, right? Like I've lost a few mates to suicide that are veterans, but I've also lost a few mates that are civilians to suicide.
Yeah.
So there's similarities, but you've just got to, I feel you've got to be able to live with the good and the bad. And that's why I'll probably use that modality of mental health. They say it's a treatment, but the modality I use is called acceptance and commitment therapy. It's like a offshoot of CBT, but it tries to get you to live with the good and bad and evaluate situations to go, is this helping me get towards where I want to be or taking me away from where I want to be? Did it this morning on the way here when I was like, fuck, I'm not good enough to come in here. Like I'm saying all this bad shit about myself and I'm like, fuck. Yeah, come in and like I did it. Like there's one thing I do, it's like thoughts as hands. So you think about all the bad shit you say about yourself in this hand and go, oh, you're a shit social worker, you're a shit dad, you're a shit husband. These are all things that I think about yourself because you always think the worst things about yourself, right? You put them in this hand and you think about all the good things. Sorry, Russ, I'm doing something different from what you do. Think about all the good things in life in this hand. So like my kids are pretty well behaved. Like I've got a good wife. I've got a house. I fucking love my dog to bits. But then you let them sit there and they're sitting there. But the moment you either let the bad consume you, so this is like consuming you, look at how much you can see, or you let the good consume you. But if you just let everything sit down here and find a space for both of it, that you can actually work through it and help it and get you to where you want to be.
Okay.
It's all about finding those techniques when those shit times come up on how to not go from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's it. If you are experiencing things like that, having techniques is vital rather than turn into the bottle as you were experienced with.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah.
So what's the plan with the charity, right?
Yeah, so I've got the private practice, which I see people under DVA and DIS work cover privately. And that's how I earn money.
Yeah, and so then, if a veteran comes and sees you, it's funded by DVA?
Yeah, so you get the allied health referral and they can come in and see me under their white card under non-liability healthcare or under, like, if they've got accepted mental health conditions or a gold card, it doesn't really matter. As long as I'm treating that psychosocial part of their mental health. So it's all about, I look at it I don't look at it as mental, it is mental health, but I look at it as mental fitness, that there's 4 really strong pillars. So you've got sleep, exercise, and diet. You need those to regulate your neurotransmitters and all the good shit in your brain. And then a sense of community or a sense of purpose. To have that around you. They're my 4 strong pillars that you need around you. And it's something that I lost for a long time that I've really found that I do need. So that's why I do what I do, because I'd love to be able to help other people that suffer the same shit in life to get there.
Yeah.
The same as us. Like we both come from low socioeconomic backgrounds. We've both had different journeys, but there's similarities, right?
Yeah. And there's a lot with a lot of people.
And you're doing your thing and you're talking about these experiences, which for me is just as much as what I do and talking with people, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a 2 or 3 hour therapy session every week for me.
Yeah. And then you probably go out and you when you're editing, you're reflecting on it and you're going, fuck, I never thought of that, or wow, I should think about that more. Like,
yeah,
for you, you're in a reflective piece weekly, and that's good. And this is your community now, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people just lose that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've almost got selfish reasons to keep going.
Yeah. But yeah, so my private practice pays the bills, that pays for the space where the charity operates out of as well.
Yeah.
The charity...
How do you pay yourself then with your income?
I've got in caps at the moment. One day that'll dry up and I want to get off it, right? I want to make sure that I'm off it as soon as I can. I don't want to I've never been on Centrelink. I made it a priority to never be on that because of my family history. They'd never worked my biological mum worked a few odd jobs in some cashies and stuff, but been on Centrelink most of her life. So I never wanted to be on that, but now I'm on in caps. I'm like, fuck, but at a stage I was pretty fucked up. So
yeah, but it's a safety net.
Yeah, so it's there, and then the charity. I want to find a gap in the market. I think it's not even a gap in the market, right? It's something that the community needs, and I think it is in that veteran, first responder, and healthcare worker space with that sense of community, but that family connection. So there's a number of people out there that I've talked to that the veteran gets a lot of things, or you go to an event with Buddy Up and there's a lot of first responders there, but you can take one kid. So I'd love to be able to add some value into some other programs out there, because there's some amazing programs out there like Kookaburra Kids or Defence Kids. I haven't really talked to them about them yet. So if you're listening, let's talk about it, where they go off in the kids camps. The kids go off and do their camp, but we go as a family group. But then when the kids are off doing their kids group, we can do some family kind of activities to build that bond and sense of community with the families again. And then at the end of the day, bringing that group back together and having a fun time as a family group, but then a bigger community group as well. And depending on our funding, there's some grants and stuff that are opened recently. Wouldn't mind doing some, just community engagement and building that community. So going out and hiring out time zone with the family for 2 hours and just having 50, 80 veterans and their families in to just have fun and just
that'd be awesome. Bring
that sense of, fuck, you don't have to be broken all the time. That there is also some ways that we can have some fun in life, because I lost that. And then when I become very suicidal, I lost that even more. So I know how vital and important it is.
Yeah, for sure. When you get back into actually there'll be a podcast released just before this one that I encourage everybody to listen to, which is lessons learnt in 64 episodes. And number one is that identity, purpose, community, connection. It's vital. And it's game changing, right? When you go from where you were, where a lot of us have been in that darkness of not wanting to be here anymore and finding solace in a bottle of alcohol. When you get through that and out the other side, where you're reconnecting and you're finding your tribe again, and the sun's shining bright again, right? It's a massive difference.
Yeah. So it took me a long time to get into that space, though, right? So I discharged in full time in 2011, and obviously didn't even know about DVA claims until I moved back to Queensland and put in my claims in 2022 or something like that. So I was 11 years post-discharge, and so you just struggle through fucking life.
Yeah.
But then I got really depressed about how my body was so fucking shit because of the shit decisions, not that Defence made, that I made and didn't look after my body when I was younger. And that's why I got so depressed and so suicidal, was because my body was letting me down and taking away that sense of purpose that I had as a paramedic, which I fucking loved.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was taken away from me because of my body, and then my mind came on after that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Especially if you identify yourself as someone that does those kind of things, it does whatever it is, fucking downhill skiing or something. You're can't do that anymore. I've got nothing. I'm now worthless. It's got to redirect it into something new. It just looks different now.
100%. And that's why I'm where I am. I can't say I'm an expert in my field either. Like, I do what I think's best, and I'm always reflecting and trying to see how we can do things differently and better, because not every person's the same. So you can't just have a cookie cutter approach in that space. But yeah, I'm on my way to my mental health accreditation. I hope so. Which means I might be able to do some more in that space as well. So my long-term goal is to maybe work 2 to 3 days within the DVA and NDIS space with funding through those streams. And then once I get my mental health accreditation, to work with Medicare mental health plans and provide no gap fee to provide some mental health support to low socioeconomic communities and families, and also families of veterans and stuff like that. So coming from that low socioeconomic background, sometimes you look at people and they're like, they don't choose to be the way that they are. It's just the way that they...
Yeah, it's a card you dealt.
Yeah. So if we can help, like, you look at the healthcare system, it's, again, you look at the DVA system, the healthcare system's much the same, right? It's so hard to find some free services out there.
Oh, it's getting really bad now, yeah.
So I want to be able to give back. For me, it's not about the money. It's not about making squillions of dollars. I don't think I'd become a social worker if I wanted to make squillions of dollars. It's just about how I can help the community.
It's admirable, dude. Obviously, we talk about it all the time, that people that serve in the military have that in them, that sense of service and wanting to serve, and you kind of embody that. You show, and that's exactly who you are.
I think, yeah, it's just that type of person that does join the Defence Force too, right? Like, you look at probably 90% of the people you serve with that have all gone on to similar kind of serving roles.
Yeah. It's a selfless thing to join the military and sign your life away to the country. So
yeah. When you look at, most of the guys I served with went across, and when they discharged, went across and did like that security on Manus Island and stuff like that. And that's because, again, it's one of the things you can do once you're discharged from like the infantry or as an AGI or something. That's where you come out with like a certificate 3 in security or something, don't you?
Yeah. Straight back with the defense crew.
But there's like, again, that's just another service role. Same as you look at the corrections and the police and the fireys and the ambos. You've got a lot of veterans in that space as well.
Yeah.
We'll go on a bit of a tangent here, but when at the transition seminar yesterday, there was QAS was there. And from my understanding, I'm hoping it gets up. So because QAS has currently got an Indigenous pathway for First Nations Australians and even First Nations like Pacific Islands and stuff like that, because we've got large communities around of those populations too. So they're the cadets that do a diploma, and then once they finish their diploma, they're working on road, but then they go and study their Bachelor of Paramedicine and become APRA registered. But from my understanding, and I want to see it happen across every single state, is that there's a process that works in with the ambulance services that has a similar program for veterans, because you've got medics from the army and or from all, like, imagine being a combat medic in Afghanistan, or any of the ones that are attached to any of the units that got into some serious shit. They've actually got so much trauma knowledge in there.
Oh yeah, super experienced.
So, but then they've got to come back, and if they want to be a paramedic, they got to go back to start from scratch. And they're like, what the fuck? Like, so it'd be great if they can get those programs up and running. So hopefully there's the unis in Brisbane that do paramedicine. So you got Griffith on the Gold Coast, you got ACU, at Banyo, just not too far from here, and then you've got USQ out at Ipswich. Hopefully they can all band together and work together instead of just being a business, and actually doing what they're there to design to do, and as educate people to try and get these programs out there for veterans. So, I'm not political, but I admire what the current Queensland government's doing with their veteran procurement pathways and stuff like that. So if you're a veteran, you have to go through the same application process as everyone else, but they're recognising your service. So if you are a veteran, you can say, cool, we're banding together with this person, and we can, all four of us, we can deliver that project. And if you're all veterans, you get say 40 points more towards getting that procurement process approved. For me, that's pretty huge.
Yeah, right.
So first state in Australia to do that. And the same with, they were there at the transition seminar yesterday, and I was having a chat about grants and stuff like that. So, over the next little while, I'll probably be applying for some grants in that community space. So I'd actually probably look at it for yourself as well, mate.
I applied for one last year, saluting their service grant, but I just did it myself. I didn't realise it was like a proper application process.
Not a ChatGPT process.
Not a ChatGPT process. There's actually grant writing businesses and stuff. They want certain answers, not your best answer. I'll apply for it again at some stage.
There's some community funding in there, which I'm sure you'll be able to find some ways to get some funding, whether it is because you are being a pillar of the community to bring everyone together. It's not just the veterans. You're getting first responders on here. You're getting a whole lot of different perspectives of life to come here to try and build that sense of community, right? And you had your birthday party and stuff like that. There might be other events and stuff you could apply for to hold with your community to bring them all together.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot I could do with it. One of the bigger things I want to do is start traveling. Most of my audience if I look at my demographics of viewership, most of the views that I get are actually from Sydney and Melbourne.
Okay.
Which surprised me. I kind of had a feeling that it was more local, but it's just that my guests are mostly local, but most of the viewers are actually down in the big cities. So to do a road trip down to Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne would be super cool. Grants for that to actually spread out, or even fly people in if that was a better option, and get a studio out of my house, mainly for safety reasons, I guess, just everybody knowing where I live. Making it more, like you said, getting it out of the house so it doesn't feel like your home is your workplace.
It's got its plus and minuses, right? It's good because you're right there.
Yeah,
you don't have to think about lunch.
My editing studio is next to my bed.
Yeah, you don't have to think about lunch. Coffee machine's right there, but it doesn't cost you anything. Yeah. But then for me, the cost was outweighing. And for me, it's different because through DVA to bill, if I consistently met people at their house if I did home visits, the initial consultation was more money. So I didn't want that. I wanted to have an option for them so that people didn't think that DVA didn't think that I was only going to see home visits because I didn't have an office. And now I give people the option. So that's different for me, I guess. But the safety thing, dude, I get it. We were talking earlier about with your young women and our young kids. My daughter's nearly 5, so she's much younger than your daughter, but still, it's a concern. And
yeah. And as much as we're talking about, bringing the community together and stuff, there are still fucking whack jobs out there.
Yeah, surprised you let me in.
Yeah, I don't really worry about myself. I can handle myself, but
I've seen those videos. I wouldn't like to be in one of those kicks.
Their motivation to fucking get people to go to the gym. But yeah, things like that. Having a workspace, getting out of the house, getting out getting it out of my place and creating, like you said, also having that place where people can go. We can host events at the studio and stuff like that. And
Yep.
I've got some sponsorship options at the moment. We're having conversations, but one of the sponsorship packages is using part of that package to host community events and label them as the sponsor that brought you this event. Things like that would be cool. So that's probably one of the first things on my agenda. Sort of have to decide whether I want the travel thing or the studio thing first, and move towards one of those.
Yeah. Got to find out what your community wants as well, right?
Yeah. It's hard to get feedback. People don't really give a lot of. You put questionnaires and stuff out there, and people just ignore them.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen Mick's episode yet, but Mick Lee.
Oh, yeah, that was last week.
Yeah. It's not out yet, is it?
Yeah. It was out on Saturday.
Okay. Shows how much I'm paying attention. No, so like you'd watch him when we're at that event down at Currumbin. He's got his little gimbal and his little stuff, and he's out there shooting some stuff, and he can take some stuff on the road, and there might be that option for you. And
yeah, dude, I'm doing Thailand next week. I literally bought 2 of those cameras.
Yep.
To take over to Thailand so I can do some B-roll, and I'm going to take a couple of lapel mics and those 2 cameras and kind of do the same setup where I've got 2 cameras.
Yep.
And we're both wearing lapel mics instead of these. And I'll try and make it as professional as I can to keep the quality. Obviously I won't have the lighting and the colour gradients and stuff, but I'll do what I can and make it look profesh. When you're watching this, actually, I'll actually be in Thailand doing that. So, hopefully that goes all right. That'll be my first little expedition, first little travel series.
It's a bit of a pilot project, right?
Yeah, that'll sort of give me the knowledge and experience to do the Sydney Melbourne ones.
Yep.
Yeah,
and have you had a look at your pitch deck since the vet course and how you'd use it, or do you think you'd change that up a little bit, or?
I actually put a bit of it into my sponsorship package.
Yep.
So I used a lot of that pitch. In like the sponsorship package is about 10 pages. So over those 10 pages, I've sort of sprinkled a lot of that into it.
Yeah, I have to do a pitch to a company down in Sydney when I go down there for the VetCon. So I'm not sure. Yeah, you'll know about the veteran business community and.
Down in Canberra, is it?
There, I think Pete's based in Sydney, so there's the VetCon in July the 9th, I think, in Sydney, and conference by day, and then some veteran awards by night.
Okay.
So I'm catching up with a bank down there to deliver a pitch to try and offer like EAP services to their bank as that veteran specialist.
Cool.
To do that. So I was like, fuck, I'm never going to use this pitch deck. And I had to develop one. I got Dylan to help actually because I was shitting myself, and I was like, is this what I'm meant to do? So I've done that, and I've sent it to Mark and got some feedback on it, and I've actually had to use it. So I was like, oh, fuck. Should have paid more attention and did better for my pitch at the conference at our in-person day. But
no, it's awesome, man. Good luck.
There's like for me, it's a pilot project at the moment. You've got to adapt with the community. You can see how quickly you need to adapt in the veteran space of this $5,000 cap gets up and how we'll navigate that. But
part of that, aren't you?
I am part of it, but it's always about like that social work part of me is like what's best for the veteran, and I will continue to fight what's best for the veteran. And you know yourself, like you had to EP because you need to maintain your body, because if we let it go for a week or two, it goes backwards, and then you put yourself back 6 weeks rather than even though it's only been 2 weeks that you've left it. So these things that we signed up for, and it's happened to our body, but how do you I'll continue to advocate for that. So with the people that I see, I always go through now. I'm getting it in my case notes to go, what are you using now? What's the bare minimum? What's a nice to do? And none of it's a nice to do, right?
Yeah.
So most veterans are sitting around that
Sustains.
I see. Most of the ones I see are sitting around that 10 to 20K mark a year.
Yeah, right.
Just to maintain. But I also see probably one end of the spectrum.
Yeah. There's a little bit of that. Like, so as an EP, back in the day of that, before even the 12 session cycle thing came in, the whole point of DVA EP, or EP across the board, work cover, fucking whatever it is to give people the skills to move forward on their own.
Yep.
So an EP is never meant to be a long-term clinician. An EP is meant to create a foundation and give guidance to give a person the tools to be stronger and resilient to move forward with their life and overcome their injuries themselves. So DVA is on the same fucking thought process with that whole thing. So then they put the 12 session cycle in to stop people abusing it and doing 3 sessions a week forever. And more try and move towards that work cover model of we'll give you 12 sessions. In that 12 sessions, we expect that, you've learnt and you. So, I used to get work cover clients. They come in with a shoulder injury. Work cover would give me 12 sessions after I'd applied for it. And I've got literally 12 weeks, once a week for an hour to get this person back to looking after themselves and overcoming their injury and getting back onto their job. So that's kind of that was the theory behind DVA doing it. And I think they're going, people are getting too reliant. You're taking away a veteran's independence and capability by giving them that. I don't have to worry about it myself because I can just rock up and have no thought and someone will do it for me.
Yeah, I see column A and column B.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely see both sides of the fucking scale. Cause
I know you do, but for me, it's like I probably went to medical twice as much as what a normal person would, right? Because I was just fucking like, I'm just going to go like, especially the old spitty bot and stuff like that. You would go to medical, and if you wanted a couple of days off, you'd just go, I've got diarrhea. But, but a lot of veterans don't talk about their injuries for a very long time because they don't want to get downgraded. So then those injuries then compile, and because their ankles fucked, their knees give out, and because their knees give out, their hips give out, and because their hips give out. So I can understand why there's a need for longer term support, but I always see that graduation space as well, because there's a couple of my clients that even in the 7 months I was been doing it, I was seeing once a week for the first month, and then went to fortnightly, then I went to monthly, and now there's one like 6-8 weeks. And I'm there if they need it, but I'm giving them the skills and the training to be able to manage that moving forward.
1,000%. And I think it's the same with EP. You want to give them everything they need and then slowly start weaning yourself off so that they're doing it themselves. You don't want them to become dependent on you. That's the side of it I understand. But I also understand that fucking some people need it for a lot longer. And my belief is that there's going to be exemptions for those people.
Yeah, there will be, and it needs to be that clinical need. Yeah. So I think it'll be like on myself, if I feel like a veteran needs more social work because we're working towards a common goal, like a goal, like it will be, I need to go and justify that to their GP, who then needs to justify that to DVA.
Yeah.
So that as long as there's that proper clinical need, it's not just going to be, I believe they need another 12 sessions. It'll be, they need another 12 sessions because of A, B, C, and D. Because sometimes there is overservicing, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I've gone back and looked at my, because you can see it now. A lot of people don't know, but you can see what you billed for. I think it's through Medicare, some way to see what's been billed against your WIDO, your gold card.
Yeah, I think someone told me the other day, you go into your GP and ask for the record.
But I've found it before on through my Medicare or something like that.
Okay.
And you can see what's being charged. And there was a few in there. I'm like, what the fuck's that?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it definitely happens.
Yeah.
And that's why they're stamping down on it. All those people that hate it and in an uproar, I understand. I definitely understand both sides of the fucking coin, because it is bad, but it's also good. You just need to find the happy medium. We're going to have to fucking adapt.
And the biggest thing is it has not passed Parliament yet. So
yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. It might not even happen.
No, 100%. And you can look at the Invictus and Kookaburra kids that lost their funding. From my understanding now, that was going to the Veteran Family and Wellbeing Agency. That funding was supposed to go there, and then that funding would have then filtered down into those other, like Invictus and back to Kookaburra kids, but that agency hasn't stood up yet. So that's why that funding is now back with Invictus, and they've got that year funding now, or 3 years, I think Invictus got back. But then from now on in, it will sit under another department, and that's why the funding didn't go directly to them initially. That's my understanding.
Yeah, there's a lot of knee-jerk reactions going on to some information that's coming out. I think people just need to calm down a little bit and wait for the full story.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I'm going to advocate to the cows fucking come home about, like, the veterans that actually need it.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, I've probably got a reflective piece out of this. Like, I see an EP once every couple of weeks now, and to try and get through my injuries, and I'm getting back to a spot where I probably don't need it. So that's now, like, yeah, I do have those tools and those strategies to be able to, but for me, it's good for my mental health as well, which a lot of people use it for that, for those group sessions and stuff. So it's so fucking hard, because that's the only part of the community they go to the gym and they do their workout in a group session and then go for a coffee with all the boys and stuff. So
yeah, dude, I see an EP as well, and I fucking love it, and I can't imagine not doing it. And there's no way I could afford it myself.
No.
So yeah, it pains me to think that I might not be able to do that, but at the same time, I'm like, oh yeah, I am pretty dependent on it. So it's like,
yeah,
I don't know.
We will a work in progress, but I think those people out there's a lot of advocates that will advocate for veterans and what they actually need. So.
We've still got 13 months, so let's see what happens. It might not even get off the ground. Hopefully not. But
hopefully we don't win with a coup or something like that.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think we could also take the little lesson of maybe I should fucking get a little bit more dependence and, think about how resilient and fucking all those traits that the military gave us, right? And then we're becoming dependent on the healthcare system. So nobody else gets that.
No, and that's my big reflection recently. Thanks for bringing that up, that I have started to do that with people, and I don't know if it's a detriment or just a learning piece to have that other reflective. So I don't go into it straight away, but I was like, so as a paramedic, I've in the last month have been diagnosed with PTSD due to my time as a paramedic, and I don't know why it's fucking come up now, because it's a trauma that's always been there, and it's always been laughed off, and it's always that black humor, that dark humor where you're laughing about it, but now maybe because I'm not around it all the time, that's where it's coming back in. But there's nothing there for us. It's either work cover, and you get forced out of work cover within 2 years, and then they may pay you like $6,000. But if you I've got those skills and strategies in here now to be able to manage my mental health better. Now I'm getting some better sleep again. But for someone that's not been a veteran and they've got PTSD from their time as a first responder, as a healthcare worker, as anyone else out there in the community, not trying to discount from what we do have as veterans, right? That's not that I don't think it should be there. I think it should be there for everyone. Yeah, I don't know how to make it happen, but as a first responder, there's nothing. There's no gold card. There's no anything that's actually there to continue helping you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
as much as we kick and scream, fuck, we got it pretty good.
Yeah, but we also
need it.
Yeah, you also need it. So it's like I'm advocating. I don't want it to seem like I'm advocating now for the first responders at the detriment of the veterans, if that makes sense. Because it could come across that way, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But it's not that. I don't think that...
And people there that have done a lot and seen a lot, they're like, I fucking, I deserve it, I need it.
Yeah.
100%. But it's just like, it's unfortunate that there's other jobs that cause a lot of fucking trauma.
Yeah, similar trauma.
Yeah. So. That you have daily fucking trauma. Some could say worse trauma.
Oh, it's just trauma at the end of the day, right? Like
compounding daily events.
But there's something, we could be sitting here and we could witness something right there and it would affect both of us very differently. So you can't even just say like, oh, you're a pussy because that's affected you. Because our brains are, like you could, but our brains are just wired so differently. And that's what I think the research that's coming out these days towards PTSD and what it actually does to your brain. It's not just a mental health condition; it becomes a physical condition. It's huge. So
100%. No, I'm saying that it's just a shame that emergency services don't get nearly as much as we do.
I know QPS is doing a lot in their space to be able to help their officers who do suffer from mental health struggles to be able to stay in the job rather than just going.
There was a massive sweep last year. They're hiring all sorts of allied health professionals now to try and crack the code of the mental health issue.
Yeah.
So they're hiring a bunch of exercise physiologists and stuff last year.
Yeah.
Well, not last year, a few years ago when I was at an RC at 6RAAF. I was like, oh, maybe I should go for that job. It's like $130,000 a year to be a workplace health dude at QPS.
Yeah, but they do lots of events now as well. So I know Buddy Up initially got started by a veteran, but they do a lot in that first responder space as well now.
Lots of organisations are veteran and first responder.
Yeah, so the same as mine, right? But I've got that lived experience with both, so that's why I think I focus on it. But you got places like LSKD that does one Saturday a month. You can go down to their gym and their factory at Logan Lee, or it's down on just off the highway at the Pacific Motorway down there.
The clothing brand.
Yeah. And they allow you into their gym. They do workouts and do discounts and free clothing for the first responders and stuff like that. So there's more people getting on board, which is great to see.
Yeah, nice. We'll have to put that on the spreadsheet.
Did I end up sending you that one that I'd done, or?
I think you did send it to the group chat.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, cool.
I'll have to have a look at it. Cool, man. Anything else you want to mention while we're in front of a microphone?
No, that's all. I was probably going to be a shit ton of things. I'm like, fuck, I should have said that, but...
I do that all the time. Especially when I'm going through the edit and go, fuck, why didn't I say this?
Yeah. But no, it's like, for me, the big thing is that sometimes as a young soldier, you may have not dealt with your trauma leading up to joining the Defence Force, and then it's compounded by the way that they do change your nervous system. And sometimes you're going to, for me, like Exhibit A, like I'm going to be a person that I actually never wanted to be. I wanted to be a young dad, a good partner. I wanted to be all these things that I wasn't. And it's not till that time where you're able to reflect and look back at your life and go, fuck, I wish I didn't do that, but it's happened. So how do we not do it moving forward? I'm still not perfect. I've still got fucking a lot of shit that I probably need to work through, but it is a work in progress, and that's life, right? But
it is, mate. We're human. We're bound to make mistakes. That's, as we were saying before, learn, grow. You're killing it, mate. You're killing it. You are doing everything you're supposed to be doing.
Just doing my job.
Doing your best.
Yeah, but I fucking hate
Talking about yourself.
Yeah, well, I even get compliments. So.
Take it. Cool. Well, you've talked about yourself for a couple of hours, so well done.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on. It's it's great to be able to say it out loud, so I can go back and I can reflect on it even more and just try and make more improvements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting it all off your chest and not having it fucking eat at you is something I've experienced it firsthand. So I can tell you it's cathartic.
Yeah. Probably the last thing I'd say is I'm sorry to the people that I have hurt in my life. It's I honestly don't know why I did the things I did, but I did do them, and you all didn't deserve it. It's a reflection on the person I was, so I'm sorry. I know that probably means nothing, but I am truly sorry from the bottom of my heart.
It means something, dude. Hopefully people can accept that. Nice. Well done, mate.
Thanks.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Just a quick shout out to the veteran businesses that support the podcast. Veteran-run, veteran-owned, awesome products. We've got Jericho Australia, Sleepy Reaper Coffee, and Lifespan Supplements. Head over to the website, follow through the links I've got on there, and you get yourself a discount. Cheers, guys. Appreciate you. The Grey Man Podcast is a veteran-run platform dedicated to sharing authentic experiences from current and former service members. These stories are shared to foster connection, understanding, and support within the veteran community. Episodes may contain raw, emotionally charged content that some listeners may find distressing. Listener discretion is advised. The views and opinions expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the Grey Man Podcast, its host, or affiliated partners. The Grey Man Podcast assumes no liability for any statements, opinions, or representations made by guests during interviews or discussions.